who are you? What do you do on the internet? And what can people expect from your content?
My name is Donna, also known as Charming Jellyfish. I'm a noob adult fan of Lego and metalcore gal at heart. I am somebody who is live on Twitch. I try to do twice a week. I build slowly, very slowly. I enjoy our chats when we are live, and I am very much the dropper of bricks. I drop bricks all the time. And so if there's ever time I drop a brick, minifig, or mini doll or accessory for either of the two, and it leaves the confines of my desk into the abyss beneath my desk, I do squats. And or if we, when we reach our follower goal, I do squats as well. So stream is full of lots of hydration. We're big on hydration. It's a group hydration. And build slowly. We chat, tons of good vibes, family friendly. All of my content is family friendly. And that's mainly Twitch. And then I post stuff on the YouTubes and Instagram and the TikToks. All of it.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that you have content across pretty much all the major spaces in addition to Twitch, the YouTube channel, the TikTok, Instagram. And what are those particular platforms like in terms of what you have?
What I have is not quite where I want to be. I'm trying to get into the habit and pattern of posting at least twice a week on YouTube and on Instagram and the TikToks. On YouTube, I do reviews of whatever we built on Twitch, as long as we finish the build. Once again, slow builder.
Yeah.
And then so I'll post like a review on YouTube and some of the clips from Twitch as well. And then on Instagram, and it's all Lego. Instagram will eventually be a little bit of a mixture of Lego and maybe like some sort of like inspirational stuff or like self-love. I'm not quite sure where that's going to go yet, but for sure it's going to be Lego.
Yeah.
The TikToks is just a combination of clips from Twitch, whatever I post on Instagram, if I do like the reels, or if I put it on YouTube Shorts, then usually that'll go over to the TikToks. So all Lego.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I would say that given the amount of content that one would have to post across all of those, I imagine you keep pretty busy. I've noticed that actually some of your Lego videos also have like shopping trips or, you know, the latest hauls that you've gotten, which is also really cool to see. Definitely, that is a lot of content between the long form video, the live streams, as well as taking those and also turning them into short form videos. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you're a relatively new AFOL. Let's talk about what got you into Lego and I guess how recent all of that is. So tell me your Lego story. Would love to hear it.
I just got into Lego last year. I got into it because one of my kids, aka Spawns, got like a Lego box, like creative with like the bajillion different pieces in there for their birthday. I never grew up with Lego. We grew up with K'NEX, and I was never a big fan.
Oh.
Having the time and the chance to sit on the ground with my Spawn and just build. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Just seeing their little faces just light up as they're expressing their creativity, building these little itty bitty things based off of a bucket of parts. Mm-hmm. And so I love that. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then somebody got like a couple sets for their birthday, but they didn't want to build it. And I was like, cool, I can do that for you. That's fine. So then I built it, and while I was building it, I did like I was trying to channel my inner LEV from like LEV Toys, how she like builds and like reviews at the same time.
Hmm.
And I did it, but it was a struggle. But I really liked just building. And we start with bags, so many bags, and just having it all come together. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, time went on. Not like it's been like years, but a couple months went by.
Yeah.
I got some sets for Christmas. I was like building and reviewing, doing that thing. Um, I discovered I didn't exactly follow the directions. So that, I feel like that definitely contributes to me being a slow builder, because I'm like, wait a minute, like we have a gap that we're not supposed to have. Like, what happened? It was probably, I think it was like the Noodle House, the 3-in-1 Creator Noodle House, that I discovered I can't follow directions for anything really. But yet I still loved it. It was amazing. And then so I bought my first set for myself in January of this year.
Wow.
And yeah, it was the Minecraft Fox Lodge.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I definitely was struggling. And because of the fact that I know I don't follow directions, whether I am skipping steps or combining steps that I don't need to do, it was a little bit of a struggle. But I realized that I need to organize my bricks. That would help me like see if I do have any leftover pieces at the end, and then kind of figure out where they go. But with the case of the Fox Lodge, it turned out I was actually missing a piece for that build. Like Lego just didn't send it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought like maybe it like got shoved underneath the keyboard, or it somehow wound up on the floor. I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So I have a running list of pieces that are like missing from Lego sets that I've purchased.
Really?
And I think yes.
Oh no. Oh no. If there's a list,
Yes.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, especially considering I've only been into Lego for what, a year?
Yeah.
And I've talked with other AFOLs who have been building for years, like decades. And they say that they can count like on one hand how many times they've been missing a piece.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm just special.
Yeah. I've talking about that personal experience, I would say maybe there's certainly less than 10 times I've ever had to deal with that. So not maybe, I want to say like somewhere between 5 and 10. So it's definitely uncommon. But I'm sure you've already done this, but on the Lego site, you can get the parts shipped to you, the missing parts. So they've always been really quick for me in terms of like, if I'm missing a piece, I can just go on the website, tell them what I'm missing, and then it arrives within 1 to 2 weeks usually, at longest.
Oh, wow.
So they have a really nice form you fill out. What's really cool is you just tell them the set, and then it shows you all the parts in the set, and then you click the one that you're missing, and then they ship it to you. So yeah, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. That's really unfortunate. I often find that what I end up doing is I'll use the wrong piece, like if it's a different color, right? Like actually, I just experienced this last night. I had a 1x3, like the instructions said like a 1x3 like dark gray piece, and I
Hmm.
looked everywhere for it, but I knew that I had like a light gray version of it sitting in front of me, and then I basically had to look through the model to see if I used it somewhere else, and I totally did. I swapped the colors, and I was like, oh, okay. But I found that that's one of my things when I end up like thinking I lost a piece, and then I just put it in the wrong spot. So I've had definitely a lot of false alarms where I've stopped the stream and I'm like, hold up, I'm missing something, guys, and then I go into like investigation mode to find out, is it indeed missing? Did I drop it? Did I use the wrong part? Like I kind of go through the checklist now of like the things that
Oh
I know
yeah.
that I've done, and I do it almost every time, at least once or twice a build. Like I'll grab either
Oh
the
wow.
wrong thing, or I'll drop it or something like that. So I totally get it. It's incredible that you've experienced that in the short year of doing that. I'm curious to find out what made you decide to say, okay, well, I love Lego. Now I want to make content out of it. What brought you from like Lego to Lego content creation?
So, um, my kids have a YouTube channel, and we kind of started to pivot to do like more Lego related things. And there's only so much I can do with them at the end of the day after school when they're so tired.
Yeah.
I wanted to just build and review.
Mm.
And I mainly was inspired by LEV Toys because she has been doing YouTube videos and content creation for so many years. And she just has so much fun. And her like super bright, bubbly personality, whether she's just that way just for the camera or if that's actually like who she really is, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's really cool. Like instead of it being like a guy, I'm like, and they're just like, oh, cool, we're just gonna put this there and that there, and she's just different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I loved that. And my daughter loved watching it. And I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, that's cool. Like, I honestly did not appreciate how much work goes into doing those build and reviews.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like it's a lot. So I started doing the build and reviews, and then eventually I was like, I realized how much work it was. And I was like, okay, let's do something a little different. Let's do how to build a triceratops video. Like I was able to hammer them out a lot quicker. It made it a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, well, I like doing this, but I still want to like be a better builder and be faster.
Yeah.
So I went and actually for Christmas, I got a couple sets. I started to build those and try to get faster, but yet still not following directions. Um, it's a struggle of mine, like on stream, building with Lego, and just in regular real life.
Right.
Yeah, it's mainly thanks to LEV that I started doing the content creation.
Yeah.
And then thanks to Emmasaurus,
Mm.
I decided to go on camera and then start streaming. So yeah, and then here we are.
I love that. Emmasaurus was on the show a while back, a couple months ago, and
Yes.
yeah, I think she would be so delighted to hear that she inspired you to do that. I think that's something that has always been really important to her, is to show that, hey, you can do it too. So I'm so glad that that was one of your sources of inspiration. And then how was that jump from going to creating videos to going on camera as like kind of a next step? Because it sounds like you started with just the building, but without any kind of like camera time for yourself being on camera. How was that for you making that transition?
It was really nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a goofball. I have a lot of quirks, I guess you can call them. I'm not perfect. I'll never claim to be. And there's a lot of things I was like, oh, well, people are going to judge me for this. Like, I roll my eyes too much. Like, I lose track of my words sometimes mid-sentence. I was really nervous about doing it.
Yeah.
But after lurking in quite a few people's streams, like in the brick building community, I got a lot of encouragement, first of all. Everybody was like, yeah, if you're thinking about it, just do it. Like, you don't really need a lot. You don't need all this fancy gear or all the fancy stuff. You just need a camera and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually I was like, okay, like I set up my scenes in OBS, and at the time I was running off of my my MacBook, but it was struggling. And before, like, I was just trying to set up my scenes and get my audio and try and have music. And before I even went live, I had, I think, 2 followers, I think. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, y'all are following me and I'm not even live yet. Like, what in the world?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so once I actually did go live, I think I had like 3 people in there, like in chat, pretty much the whole 2 hours I was live.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, well, that's really cool. It's really exciting. Like, wish I had more people, but it was fine.
Yeah.
And then a couple streams later, like I have more things figured out and I'm live. And then like the whole time before I went for that, like, I think it was like my 3rd stream, I was lurking and chatting in everybody else's stream
Yeah.
just to kind of get a feel for what it's like, how receptive people are of some noob asking all these questions.
Yeah.
And it was encouraging. It was really encouraging. So I think it was my 3rd stream. I'm live, and then I get a bunch of people following me. And then I had a couple people coming in and they're like, hey, it's so nice to see you. Like, all this stuff. And like, I'm just constantly getting notifications of new follower, new follower, new follower. I'm just like,
yeah,
what is happening?
Yeah.
And apparently, me doing all the lurking and the chatting in other people's streams, because of the fact that I was a noob, I still consider myself a noob, but they wanted to support me.
Yeah.
So I think it was local brick shop gave me a shout out to however many followers, people viewing at the time he had. And so he was like, everybody go follow her. Let's get her to affiliate.
Yeah.
And so I hit 50 followers like on my 3rd stream.
Yeah.
Then I think I also got raided into my first raid. And the whole time, like, followers, new followers. And OBS was struggling to keep up.
Yeah, it does.
I was overwhelmed by all the support.
Mm-hmm.
So I started crying. And I was like, what in the world? Like, this is wild. Like, what are you guys doing? It was because I was not expecting to get to affiliate that quickly. And it was amazing. I didn't reach affiliate that day because it was just like my 3rd stream and you have to have 7 streams or something else.
Yeah.
But like having the 50 followers and the average viewer count, I think of like 5, like I got that and it was so easy.
Yeah.
And I just I was fully prepared to go for months before I reached affiliate.
Yeah.
And because I know that's pretty much what what I had experienced with YouTube, how it took me quite a while to get all the monetization things.
Yeah.
So I noticed that Twitch was something completely different.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that there's actual support. And it warmed my heart.
Absolutely.
And made me ugly cry on stream.
I'm an ugly crier too, so I totally understand. Yeah, now the community itself is rather incredible in terms of the rallying around newer creators. When we see someone join up, and then we start to kind of catch that, yeah, they're here, they're doing their thing, they're streaming Lego. Yeah, we are always more than happy to drive everyone over there, get those view counts and followers up. I think it's always really easy if you put the time in as a Lego Twitch streamer. It's really that, I think, that initial bump, like after you kind of get that splash into the pool, so to speak, and once you've kind of jumped in, then we welcome you with open arms. We get you the followers, we get you the viewers, and then it kind of, I think the part post that is sometimes the part that can definitely make it difficult on those same creators, because sometimes those numbers don't level out at that initial splash, right? They kind of go down to that, back down to like the lower counts. And definitely it's kind of a tough thing that I found for some, because I think it's all about expectations, right? And then ideally you're continuing to grow, but we always give you that big bump at the very, very start. So it's always interesting to see like how people respond to that. What for you was the biggest challenge getting started in the Twitch space and getting into all of this streaming creation?
In the beginning, I would say having a computer that could actually keep up with everything. At the time, I was using like a Canon DSLR camera, and I got it for doing my YouTube videos. And so every, I think it was like 30 minutes or so, the screen would just go black.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah. And I did some research, and so like I just have to like reach over and just tap it, just, hey, I'm still here, wake up, kind of a thing. And apparently that camera was not good for streaming. When I got it, I had zero intentions of streaming.
Right.
So it was mainly figuring out my equipment. And now I have some fancy stuff thanks to a couple people who were like, you're going to go big here. Just go do things.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for believing in me.
It's good.
And my husband built me I call it the Rainbow Beast. It's a rainbow computer over there. He built from like spare parts. Now I have the equipment, and it's a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely, it can make the difference once you kind of get a feel for it, getting that equipment that actually can do a lot of the things you need it to. I think that's always, there's always that moment where, because I mean, you mentioned this yourself, that a lot of folks are saying, just do it, just jump in, use what you got, which is generally good, because I think that kind of gets you past that point of deciding whether or not you even want to do it. But then once you realize it's what you want to do, then it's like making sure that you actually have the equipment to do the thing. And that's always, for some, depending on your current setup while getting started, can make that really difficult. But I'm glad that you're at a place where, you got the rainbow computer, which is awesome. As you kind of got used to it, were there particular parts about the whole Twitch streaming thing that was very difficult in terms of like, why do we do it this way? Or were there any concepts that you were like kind of trying to get the hang of that you found to be like really helpful to know now that you know it?
There's a couple things.
Yeah.
The biggest one I would say was figuring out my layout for like my different scenes. And I know like you don't have to have like a bajillion different things on screen.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I guess I'm kind of selfish. I have my stream and all my scenes set up because it's something that I would like to see when I watch other streamers.
Yeah.
So me lurking in a bunch of different streamers' streams, that was a little bit of a struggle in the beginning.
Yeah.
But eventually I got it figured out, and I still have issues with it, but it's all manageable.
Yeah. Yeah, from the technical, definitely the OBS part is probably the biggest thing, right? Is getting those scenes right, getting them feeling good. I've found that I'm always tweaking them anyway, and I've been doing this for a while, and I mean, even now, I'm still like messing with them. So I think that's just something that will never go away, to be honest with you. Or you do see something on someone else's stream, you're like, that's a really cool idea. I think I can do that too. So yeah, absolutely. You said you've been hanging out in a ton of other streams of other streamers. Are there particular ones that you're really like inspired by, ones that you really like enjoy and that you want to apply to your own channel?
I have already like kind of sampled from a lot of other streamers.
Yeah.
There is one streamer that I love hanging out in her stream. She's not Lego. She's not family friendly. But she, like, if I knew her in real life, I would feel like we could be friends. Because she's very relatable, and we have a lot in common. And she's like on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And a total like internet stranger, but the way that she does certain things on her stream, I'm like, oh, if I need to make some changes that I can't like figure out, maybe I would kind of turn and look at her stuff first. But that'll probably be after I'm like lurking in like Lego people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is one of the things that I definitely get a lot of inspiration from are other streamers who aren't necessarily Lego, but they do something that I enjoy, right? Whether it's a redeem or like a little joke or bit that they do. But I stop and I think, can I apply this to like what I'm doing on my stream? You started on YouTube, right? And then you kind of started the Twitch. What was the time gap between doing the YouTube, when you started YouTube and then when you started Twitch?
Technically, I launched it in October of 2020, technically. Originally, it was going to be a gaming channel for my spawn.
Right.
Then last year, I was like, oh, well, they already have like a bunch of different things. Like they don't need another channel. It's fine. So then I took over that channel in October 22nd of last year. And then making videos. And in April of this year, I started streaming on Twitch.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's about 6-month period between them.
Yes.
Or so. Did you find one easier than the other to get into and kind of get used to, or was is there one that you're like, oh, I really love this more, like the second you started doing it, or was that kind of the same on both experiences?
It was kind of the same. I did like doing the build and review, but it definitely took a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that much patience sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then having to go back and edit those videos. Oh, that was rough.
Yeah.
And it's easier with Twitch to just go live. I mean, I went live and I was like, oh, well, there's like a bajillion things I want to change.
Mm-hmm.
And then so having to like look up everything and like how to add music and how to do transitions and all this stuff.
Right.
So it was, they're about the same.
Yeah. It does seem like the learning curve for like YouTube is probably fairly steep in terms of because not just are you recording, but then you're also editing, and then there's all these little things. Whereas when you take something like streaming, right? Like it could be as simple as just pressing like go live, right? Like it's not to say that is what most people do, right? Like because we were talking about setting up our scenes and all that, which is a lot of work, but feasibly, some people could just hit go live, like add their camera and their mic and call it a day. I'm so glad that you got that experience of joining the Lego community on Twitch. In terms of, I'm relatively, I would say I don't make a lot of Lego content on YouTube specifically. How does that experience compare for you now that you've done Lego live streams versus making Lego videos? What is that difference in terms of the community in your experience? How has that been for you?
The Twitch community, the Twitch brick building community is absolutely amazing. Super supportive. Whenever there's a new person, like all the support goes to them, all the followers, all of that. It's mind-blowing. There's not that much support on the YouTubes.
Yeah. So
you have like your comments and then like you'll reply to people, and sometimes they're like, oh, I really like your stuff. You're under subscriber, something like that.
Right.
But it's not real time. It's a comment. And then you're replying and then they're replying. But Twitch is live. Like you say something and then there may be like a little bit of a delay, but it's not going to be like hours.
Right.
So it's different. I like both though. I really do.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've heard similar things in regards to the support. So I was just kind of curious on how that experience was for you. It sounds like you enjoy both. Not is equally the right word here, or you don't favor one over the other, is what it sounds like.
Right. Yeah.
In terms of splitting your time, what's that time split look like between like making YouTube content or like long form content versus live content on Twitch?
Twitch definitely gets more of my attention. I'm usually live twice a week, and it can range from about like 4 hours up to like maybe 6 hours. The YouTube, I feel like I've definitely fallen behind with my reviews and the couple of vlogs that I've done. So most of my time definitely does go to Twitch.
Gotcha.
I'm still working on finding a good balance. So yeah, it's kind of a struggle.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that struggle, right? Because you want to do, I mean, I know I want to do all of the things, right? It makes it really tough.
All the things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you realize that, oh no, I've spent all my time streaming, but like maybe not nearly, like you said, you're falling behind on that. I've done the same thing when it comes to like oh, is going to make another video or is going to edit another thing, and then realize that I had put the time into the streaming. What kind of methods would you recommend to someone who's trying to like figure that out? As someone who's trying to do the same, like what kind of things would you recommend to someone who's trying to like figure out how to balance those two?
Set a schedule.
Right.
It's not fun to figure out your schedule, but it's so helpful. That's like the main thing. Set a schedule, figure out like I have Spawn that are very active in sports.
Right.
So I know on certain days I can only stream for, I think it was like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think I'm like trying to cut it down.
Yeah.
Just so that way I can do like the post stream like things and try to stick with it.
Yeah.
But if you can't, just give yourself some forgiveness and some grace because things go wrong. So it's not going to be perfect, but as long as you're trying to make steps towards getting better, then it's fine.
Yeah. Good advice. Definitely. Scheduling is key too. I found that it goes much smoother if you make that point ahead of time to carve out like an hour or two here and there, depending on what it is you're trying to do. I know it's harder with streams, right? Because you want to kind of get streams kind of technically easier when it comes to the work that goes into it, but then it tends to suck up more time because streams just, take, you want to stream longer, generally. But when it comes to like actually making the time, like the long form video content or even the short form are kind of easy to sneak in, right? And you can probably schedule smaller blocks to make that easier. So you consider yourself a relatively new AFOL. That experience, that whole thing of getting into Lego, what's that been like for you, kind of getting swept into this whole hobby and trying to, I guess, not make up time per se, but like, what's that been like for you to kind of dive right into this particular hobby and get, I would say, throw yourself into it, because that's the impression I get. Like, I think many of us AFOLs do when we first get into the hobby. I did the same thing. Like, once I got into it, I was getting Lego like all the time, or I was looking at Lego all the time. How's that been for you?
It's been expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because in the beginning, once I actually figured out, hey, yeah, this is fun. Hey, yeah, like I can make YouTube videos from this and it's fun. And I feel like I'm finally accepting myself with my vlogs that I do now. It feels so weird to say that. Because never in a million years did I think I'd be out in public with the camera. Hey guys, we're gonna go check this out. Like,
right.
It's just, it's so wild. But me having more confidence to do that, it's been kind of a journey. So stream has definitely helped me be more comfortable with who I am, which in turn leads to more fun YouTube videos and vlogs. Yeah. Because then with the vlogs, like, I'm not editing out my goofy bits. I'm not trying to like hide who I am. And it's showing my personality. Yeah. And it's one of the reasons why I decided to one day just kind of, cut my hair off.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. And it's just because I felt like I needed to show who I am and that I am comfortable with my mohawk that most people won't ever know that I have unless, they're watching this or they see the little shorts that I've done with the mohawk.
That's awesome.
it's definitely helped me be me, all of it.
I like that. I think that's something that is incredibly important, and definitely it can go either way. I think when you get into content creation, ideally, it'll help you be more of who you are, be yourself, right? We have this recurring theme that comes up on this show is being unapologetically yourself in your content as you make it, sticking true to who you are, and certainly I think it can go that way. It should go that way, in my opinion. Definitely, I think initially some people struggle with that because they want to make good. They want to make good content. They think it'd be. They kind of want to go with what they think is more widely accepted, which may or not be aligned with who you are or what you would normally do in a video or on a stream. But I think those of us who find our communities and grow and end up thriving are the ones that actually are ourselves. And it, people like that, right? People can genuinely gravitate towards creators just based on the personality that they like. And often we'll attract a certain kind of viewer because of the personality, at least the ones that come back, right? Like generally people will come check out a video or a stream and they may stay or not. But the ones that come back, there's generally something about the personality that they like. And the best thing long term is if you're being more who you are, then makes that more consistent for your viewers who come by and the people in your community who help you build it. I'm glad to hear that it's kind of it's inspired you to be more who you are in the content, as well as leading you to cut some of your hair and do that. I think that's wonderful. What would you tell someone who is struggling, either finding their voice or trying to be more themselves? What kind of advice would you give someone who's trying to do that while making content?
Just keep trying different things. If something doesn't work or you don't feel comfortable doing something, then try something else. There's always a different way to approach things. Like on my channel, I've put in some redeems. At first, they were like, I think it had like a water one, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's cute. Like, all right, fine, whatever. And then I changed it once I became more comfortable with like, hey, yeah, like if you're coming to my stream, there's a good chance like you're going to hear some metal or some music that is like scary or angry.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those things. Like I added my hydrate redeem, and it has, I don't remember the song, but it's by like a pirate rock band, I guess, called Ailstorm. And having that on there with like some of the gifts that go with it, it makes me giggle every single time.
Yeah.
And I know that there are other people out there that definitely enjoy that one. I don't want to like be like, this is exactly what it is, because you'll need to come to my stream to check it out.
Right. Absolutely.
And then there's other ones. There's like a goat one that kind of works, I think, sometimes. It's really new. It's the newest one I've done, and a lot of the Aussies really enjoy that one.
Yeah.
So it's all about adjusting things. Sometimes you have to adjust it on the fly when you're live.
Yeah.
Which can be really frustrating and stressful. But if something doesn't work, just try and do a little pivot, a little turn.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you ever find it difficult when you think about being more true to who you are anytime you stop and you add something to your stream, or in those moments where you're like working on a video, do you ever stop and look at that and align it with like who you are as a person? Does that come up in your thoughts much, or how do you approach that?
It definitely comes up in my thoughts a lot.
Yeah.
Because I want to show everybody that I'm not perfect. I'll
Yeah.
never claim to be. But it's something that I need. I want to show people, and yeah, I guess I need to show people like it's okay to be you. Like
Mm,
you don't have to edit everything out to make you look perfect. I definitely don't anymore. I did in the very beginning,
mm,
just because I was like, I feel like I'm rambling, I'm talking too much. I got distracted by a butterfly. There's somebody outside. Like I have ADHD, so
yeah.
um, at times it's a struggle for me to like rein it in over time as I'm thinking about how I want people to see me and how I want to portray myself. So that way I'm happy because I'm kind of selfish sometimes.
Yeah.
It's definitely changed. So I just keep trying different things and to make sure that I'm happy with what I put out there, whether
Mm.
it's me being my goofball self or leaving in the little bit where I did get distracted by something or I went off on a tangent. I have to be true to myself. So I keep that in mind all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Was there ever a moment where you were making something and you found that this wasn't really as true to who you were trying, like who you are in your content? And has that made you like stop what you're doing and kind of reassess it? Or maybe even made you kind of stop and start over? Or was there anything like that?
Definitely. I think it was the last video that I did like a build and review on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because of the fact that it took me so long because I messed up so many times and I was so frustrated with it.
Mm.
I was like, I can't do this. So that's when I pivoted and I was like, okay, well, I still want to do Lego stuff. Like this is me now. Like I love this. So I just started doing like the little builds that I can hammer out in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In terms of the Lego, now that you are months and months into this particular hobby, are there any sets or themes that you've been like, I absolutely need to collect all of these ones, or are there ones that you will prioritize over anything else?
Yeah.
Which ones are you most into?
I am head over heels in love with the dreams theme.
Yeah.
That one, it's just it's so me. Because you take like the bright colorfulness. I have like a whole bunch of them on my desk right now. You take like the bright colorfulness of like Lego Friends and then you like mix it with like Minecraft. And
Mm.
for me, like that's Lego Dreams. And then sprinkle in like Tiny Tina from Borderlands.
I would not
So
expect that
it's
one. I would not
yeah.
expect that from Dreams. But I kind of see
That's
what you're
kind
getting
of the
at.
vibe I get.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's just like a little bit of like randomness, right? It's like chaos.
Hmm.
There's some chaos there, I think
Oh
is what
yes.
you're getting at. So that definitely I could see that. So
Yeah.
Dreams. Yeah, I noticed in some of your more recent YouTube videos, especially like the quest to get all the dreams sets and all of the things that you can that are dreams. Do you have everything now, or are there still sets that you're waiting to get?
So I have most of it,
Yeah.
but there are a couple things that I don't have yet.
Mm.
And I actually took my spawn. We did a family road trip down to the Lego store. And they got a couple of the dream sets. And I was like, well, I was going to buy those for myself, but I mean, I guess you guys can have them. Sure.
I see.
Between the three of us, we have about 90% of the dreams so far. The last one, I do believe, is the space bus. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
But that's the last one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So when they come out with a new wave of those, are you going to be just on top of them? Is that the plan?
Yes, all of them.
Yeah. How do you feel about the show?
There's certain things that I'm like, okay, well, it's not like consistent throughout the episode. I don't want to give like too many spoilers.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I haven't seen the full series yet. I think I'm on like episode 12 or 13 out of 20. But there's certain episodes where I'm like, wait, is it a monkey or is it an orangutan? Like, or is it an ape? Like, what are we using? What are we
going for?
What are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like the show. It's definitely helpful to get conversation started with my spawn, since they're so young, about dreams and nightmares, which are just dreams, just not as happy as regular dreams. I absolutely love it. There's definitely some points in the show where I'm like, okay, it's just a show. Like, you don't have to be scared of it. Like,
right.
They're in their certain, I think it was like the nightmare realm that they're in, and things are a little bit darker in there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an avenue to talk about dreams with my spawn.
That's cool.
So
I like that. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And it seems like this show has really gone to great efforts of including some of those potential conversations about like the act of dreaming or nightmares, things like that. I've only seen, I want to say 3 episodes, maybe 4. I think it's a cool theme. It definitely gives Lego the ability to come up with some really random sets, which is neat. Yes. I think that's what's really cool about it, is that nowhere else can you get these weird combinations of like animals and vehicles, right? Or like just really strange creatures. So I think it's a cool add to the Lego portfolio of the things they put out there, right? Because we have a lot of the things that you would expect, right? Star Wars, Ninjago, things like that. Those are all cool, but this kind of gives Lego more flexibility in terms of doing something different, which I found to be kind of refreshing. I think Minecraft did a really good job of being very playful and almost, just you could tell they don't take themselves as seriously as some of the other themes out there. I feel like Dreams is kind of the same way, which is nice. Yes. That doesn't take itself too seriously, which gives them the ability to do some of this stuff. So absolutely. That's a great one. Aside from Dreams, are there any other themes that you're into or ones that you really appreciate?
I definitely do like the Lego Friends. And it was one in the beginning, I was like, oh, I don't like this. Like, I don't like the little mini dolls, and they don't sit when you put them somewhere. They'll just slip out of the seat.
Right.
I was like, I need it to stay when and where I put it there. Since one of my spawn like absolutely loves the Lego Friends, I've built quite a few so far.
Yeah.
And I've definitely learned to appreciate them because they're so colorful, and there's so many different mini dolls, I guess they're called. they look like they wear stuff that I wear.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes their eyes are a little derpy, but that's fine. I mean, the same goes for like the Minecraft sets.
That's
Like,
true.
oh, their minifigs are absolutely derpy, and it looks just like the game.
Yeah.
And that's also another theme that I like too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's fun, and it definitely helps that my spawn both love Minecraft now,
Oh, cool.
and they both love Legos.
Oh, that's awesome. So do
Yeah.
you do a lot of building with them still, now that you're into it as well?
Not as much. For a while, we definitely were building a lot because I was doing videos for their channel and for my channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our Legos sorted then. It's not sorted anymore.
Not so much now. It's
No.
tough. It's definitely tough. You know, you mentioned the Friends theme. Are you involved at all, or looking at doing anything for Friendship Timber?
I am hoping to. I
Yeah.
know like September's almost over.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got about a week. Actually, exactly a week. I started one. I actually started one, and I
Yeah.
need to finish it. But that's cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Moktura, who is the originator of and is driving the whole Friendship Timber thing, mentioned it to me as well as many of us at Brick Slopes while we were there, and I just thought that was like the coolest idea. So I was wondering, you know, you mentioning Friends was something that I was like, oh, hope you're making something with that, because yeah, I started doing that. I actually
Nice.
grabbed some elements that were of the same colors and some of the same pieces that you would normally see in those sets, and I started making a spaceship. Man, I love that idea. So, but there's still time. You got a week. You got a week to do it.
Yeah, I'm not a mock person. I'm not that creative.
Yeah, understandable.
So that's kind of my holdback, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure, I could figure something out though.
Yeah. I mean, no pressure, right? Like, I think it's just,
Right.
I think I do this all the time when it comes to, when I think about mocks. It's like, oh man, I kind of suck at this, but it's like, I can't, if I say that, then I'll never do it, right? And then I'll never get better at it. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, especially this Friendship Timber thing, I had the same thought going in. And I was like, oh man, I suck at this because I don't really do this all the time. But, you know, I spent a couple nights working on something. Actually, it's so close. I should just finish it. Yeah, it's definitely, I think a lot of us feel that way, where we're just like, oh man, not good at this, but you should just do it. It's great. So you're not a big mock builder. So you're particularly into sets. Is there anything that like, is there any desire to try to get into mocking, or is that just kind of one of those things that you're like, when it happens, it happens, but sets are the way to go for now?
I do want to try my hand at mocking. I'm a little behind with my reviews for the YouTube. I have
Yeah.
so many sets on my desk, up on the Rainbow Beast over there. One's on the ground back there.
Yeah.
So I need to get those done and then let my spawn play with those sets before I start trying to mock. One thing I did do stream before last, because I have been asked, like, do I ever want to start mocking? And yeah, I do. Eventually, I want to have a Lego city.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, but I gotta get some space first.
Right. Right. The classic lack of space,
Yeah.
or room to put things. Definitely.
Yeah. But I started trying to see how much I could fit on just like a regular, I don't know what size this is. I don't know numbers. I don't know words. I don't know parts. But like a little one like this, just trying to see how much I can fit on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had I think it was the August GWP. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to build that. And so I built it, and I didn't have, like, I was just trying to see how many pieces or how many different little builds I can build at once
Mm-hmm.
from that. And I quickly realized I need to organize my Lego bricks over there
Yeah.
because I was only able to get one done, and I didn't quite get that many on here.
Yeah.
Just because I only got one.
Yeah.
But I will definitely eventually do a Lego city. It's probably going to be a small one. It's not going to be as big as like Emosaurus or some of the other people.
Oh yeah, those
But
take up whole rooms.
yeah,
Like they take over. I'm pretty sure Emily has said that her city's in her main, like her master bedroom.
yes,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
that's incredible. Yeah, I couldn't do that.
And
I wouldn't be
no,
allowed
like
to.
we don't have a yeah. We don't have a basement here either, and so we're a little tight on space. Yeah, so I will be keeping it to a small miniature city, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people do the shelves thing, right? Where they just like
Oh.
where they just get a bunch of traditional vertical shelving, like a regular bookshelf, and they just line up all their buildings on each shelf, and they call it their city, even though it's not traditionally laid out like one, but like you kind of treat each shelf like a street, and so you can do it that way. I've seen a couple people do that, and I think that's definitely very cool. So, you know, as someone who also doesn't have a lot of space, that's something I've considered doing too. Because I've built 2 modulars that are on a shelf off screen, but I have like 2 more that I could build in my backlog, and then so I thought about doing like the shelf deal, but just food for thought. I mean, might help. Might help so you don't have the footprint like a large space. Maybe you just start with the shelf, but who knows?
I may have to do that because I definitely was thinking about getting some shelves. I'm not one to display my sets just because I build them and then I want my spawn to be able to play with them.
Right.
So, I mean, they're the reason I'm here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's kind of like, hey, thanks guys, here you go.
Yeah. I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing with sets and my kids. I'm like, here you go, have fun. You know? Yeah.
There are 2 sets that I want to keep displayed. So the 2 sets that I do want to keep and display are the shark ship, the Dreams Nightmare shark ship, Mr. Sharky Jaw, and then the Dreams Treehouse.
Yeah.
Those ones, because of the fact that they are so large, I have it like on both sides of me, still in the box. It's not one that I'm going to easily be like, hey, here you go, kids. Have fun.
Right.
It's something that I will need to have on display for a little bit. Just kind of like achievement.
Yeah. No, I love that. Are there any particular like sets that you really kind of your white whale? Are there any sets that you're like, I really need this set? I can't wait to get it. Like if there's an opportunity for me to get my hands on it, I'll get it.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Because the Dreams for me is just full send.
That's the one. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the Dreams theme so much. When I start streaming in the mornings on Twitch, I tend to, because of the fact that I have always had very vivid dreams, and I tend to share my dreams with chat in the mornings. So having the Dreams theme being like I don't know if the right word is a catalyst, but something that like kind of kicks everything off
Mm.
for me to share my dreams. And some of my dreams are absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And it's definitely one of those things that as long as I remember my dreams, then I'll share them, and I will edit the parts out that are not family friendly if that happens in my dream. But it's usually a fun 20 minutes.
Yeah. So you on your morning streams, you talk a bit about your dreams and how they've gone or what they've been like. Is that a consistent part of your morning stream?
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as I remember the dreams, then yeah, I will share with whoever's there.
Yeah.
Because my dreams are so vivid, and I've had vivid dreams ever since probably I was pregnant with spawn number 1, I would say. And it's the fact that I can remember them.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, like we went to the store. No, it's a full
It's a full a whole thing.
Yes, if I could paint a picture, if I was that creative,
Yeah,
like I would have like all the different colors and like this person's here, like there's food here. Oh, don't forget the horses over there.
Right.
It's great. And it's just like the way my beautiful brain works.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like if you don't remember your dreams, your brain's not beautiful. No. Everybody has a beautiful brain. It's just we're a little bit different.
Yeah. I come to think of it, I don't think I talk about dreams much on my own streams, but maybe, maybe it might be worth some of I do have some wild dreams too. I always just forget to mention them, particularly, if I've been watching a lot of movies or reading a bunch, some of that stuff just leaks into your own brain as you're dreaming up things. As far as content goes for you, what makes a good stream?
I try to find somebody who is relatable. There's a lady who I tend to watch and lurk in her chat a lot just because she seems so much like me. I just try to find somebody that has good vibes. I feel like so like cringy with that phrase there, but that's kind of what I look for. Like, sure. I don't want to go into somebody's stream and them just being like really angry at like their game, or if they're not chatting at all, but yet they're just sitting there like staring at the TV while just pushing all the buttons. It needs to be positive and interactive.
Yeah.
And I've definitely noticed that the brick building community is amazing. And for the most part, it's really positive from what I've noticed.
Yeah.
And there are, yes, you have your AFOLs after dark, the ones who like, it's not family friendly, but yeah, you do have your family friendly ones as well.
Yeah.
And they're all still positive. And I feel like we're really fortunate because I've definitely been in some other streams where I'm just like, oh, like this is what people are talking about. This is the toxicity that people are talking about. Like, cool, I'm out. Yeah. So I need positivity. Like I can't have all the negativity. Like I've been there with my life, not trying to go back. So.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And I do want to recognize that the community here on Twitch of like brick building is definitely generally positive. Like you said, I think that from a general standpoint, the community, one is, I think, fairly tight knit, but also just generally a positive atmosphere. I mean, notwithstanding some exceptions potentially, but generally speaking, it's quite positive. That reminds me, you mentioned family friendly being one of the things about your content. What's it like trying to be a family friendly creator on Twitch? What's that been like for you?
Some days it's a struggle.
How so?
Well, it kind of depends on how tired I am. Because on stream, I'm definitely family friendly. If I'm in somebody else's chat, I'm family friendly. Off stream and out of chats, it's hit or miss. So
Right.
I definitely have a colorful vocabulary off stream. And so when I'm on stream, there's a lot of times I have to like pause or do a full stop and like, I'm not going to say that. We're going to go on. So anyways, like it's a struggle sometimes for me. But I want to be family friendly because I know I do have family that do watch my streams or they see my YouTube videos or anywhere really. And I don't want like my cousins like Spawn
Seeing
to
this,
be like, to like, mommy, like, what does she mean when she says this? Or, what is that?
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah.
So there's definitely times where I have to stop and I catch myself and I'm like, Or there was a time I played Jackbox with some people on stream.
Oh boy.
And it was just people I knew, just because it was the first time I've ever done that. And because of the fact that my brain 90% of the time will immediately go to non-family friendly stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're playing Jackbox and something pops up and I'm just like, keep it family friendly, y'all. Keep it family friendly.
Yeah.
And then it's a struggle some days. But if I'm like well rested and like I'm feeling good after like my workouts or whatever, then it's easy peasy.
Yeah. It's definitely Jackbox, using that example, Jackbox is definitely one of those games that it almost promotes thoughts that aren't family friendly, depending on the game and who you're playing it with, particularly if it's other friends, people you're close to, and you have that rapport with. It definitely is. I found that can be difficult to keep family friendly. Do you know Bricks O'Brien? Are you familiar? With him?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, we talk about his struggles in the family friendly streams on Twitch, and what it's like to be a content creator who is trying to stay family friendly in or on a platform where I think generally it's just kind of not, like Twitch is not generally family friendly, which is a challenge for those creators who want to be such, like yourself and Brian. So I always think that's fascinating, and definitely recognize that as a challenge. So yeah. Zach M. Rutledge says we all got dirty minds, by the way. So he's calling it true. I mean,
in the gutter.
Yeah. Yeah, all the time. And Jackbox definitely, if you play like Quiplash, totally often elicits dirty answers. Like almost all the time, I feel like you're going to get some of those questions that are like, that one I purposely avoid on stream. I love that. That's actually one of my favorite games, but I avoid it on stream when I play Jackbox on stream because if I can't guarantee, which is often never, that people would be like cool about the answers, I kind of skip it. But I hear
that's actually the game we did play.
Yeah, I was gonna say Quiplash. that one almost invites. It almost invites those types of answers and that type of play. So yeah, that's totally a thing. I love that game though. It's one of my favorite games in those. Gosh, they're on their 10th one. I think they're gonna release the 10th one here pretty soon. In like a month or so, they're gonna Jackbox Party Pack 10 is coming out. So,
okay.
But yeah, when it comes to all the things that you've been working on, what kind of goals do you have for your content? Where are you hoping to go with all of this? What's the goal?
I have a few goals, I guess. One, I don't feel it's like super achievable. But it would be like the ultimate goal of me, between myself, my Spawn, and my husband, all of us doing content creation, all Lego related.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
It would be like my kids would be on like YouTube Kids. I would love to have my stuff on there also, but it's, yeah, I guess that would be part of the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe all 3 channels on YouTube Kids, even though I know like the pay's like a little bit less than normal. And it's a struggle to get on there.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimate goal, yeah, to be on YouTube Kids with all 3 channels, just because I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I will never claim to be perfect. And I want to show people, especially the kids, like it's okay to not be perfect.
Yeah.
Because I grew up when we had magazines and you have that like magazine perfection.
Yeah.
And it's not realistic. It's really not. And so because of the fact that I grew up with that, I would say I wasn't the happiest with my own appearances and how I carried myself and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to show, like, it's okay to be yourself. You can accept yourself at any point in time, and you should. Mm-hmm. Like, do all the self-care, the self-love. You don't have to be perfect, but you're perfect as you are, kind of a thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
I wish you the best on that goal. That sounds like a very long-term goal. I hope that, getting one channel off the ground, let alone 3. So
yeah,
absolutely.
It's ambitious.
Yeah. It's ambitious, but I support it. I think that's a great thing to strive for. What do you see as like your biggest struggle in terms of like getting that to where you want it to be?
Well, I would say at the time it's being consistent with my kids' channel and my channel also.
Yeah.
Because we were doing really good with their channel for quite a bit. And then I had some questions about like the analytics and why like I was seeing one video that says like it's on YouTube Kids, but when you search for it, you can't find it.
Mm.
And I reached out to the support people, and they were no help at all.
Right.
And it really just took the wind out of my sails.
Mm.
We're not really making content on their channel at the moment, but we've been talking about it and like starting to plan stuff. So we will have like a plan of like, hey, we're going to do this video and this is exactly what we're going to do in this video. But it comes down to us actually finding the time to make those videos and then stay consistent with it.
Mm.
So it's a struggle, but have kind of a schedule that's constantly changing. Mm-hmm. But being able to stick with the schedule to consistently make those videos is definitely a struggle.
Yeah. That definitely comes up a lot. when I talk to other creators about like making this work or getting their channel off the ground, whether it's Twitch or YouTube or any of the other platforms. It's that consistency factor, getting things going on a regular basis, because whether it's life, time, or in being inspired or motivated, those can all play a factor, and which is also what makes it so tough, I imagine, because when you're not consistent, the less people know to expect that stream or that video from you.
Mm-hmm.
Once upon a time, I was streaming daily. I was streaming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was an undertaking of mine. I wanted to see if I could stream every day for like a year, and I totally did it over, I want to say, I can't remember specifically. I went about almost a year and a half. Like every day, the goal was to be live for 2 to 3 hours, and I did it. And in that window of time was my biggest growth, my biggest, I would say, viewership, because every night at 8 p.m. Pacific, people could expect me to be on regardless of what I was doing or, feeling that day. It was, you can count on the channel being live from at least 8 to like 10 or 11. And man, that was tough, but from a content, like from a community, from a viewership perspective, that was the most successful I had been, because gosh, I think almost 2,000 of my followers came from that. And and like viewership there was like towards the last 6-7 months of it, it was like 40s, 50s average concurrent viewership. Nice. So it's one of those things where like when people know, like at a point people just knew they could just turn on the stream and expect it to be on. And if I was late one night, or well, generally that's what it would be. If there would be nights where I might be running late because of life or whatever, people would be like, whoa, what's going on? Where we didn't know if you were going to show up. It's weird when you're not on. And when I finally stopped doing it, that was also the response. So yeah, the whole consistency thing, like I'm not saying people need to be doing this every day. People shouldn't be doing this every day. I firmly don't recommend it. But once a week, twice a week, totally makes a difference for a lot of creators, whether it be YouTube or Twitch or whatever it is, or Instagram. I also ran an experiment early this year where I was posting to TikTok and Instagram like 3 times a day. Oh. And that also was some of the best, like particularly on my Instagram, that was particularly some of the best. It's that consistency factor, because also, especially with those sites, not Twitch so much, but like any of the other sites, those sites will push your stuff more because it sees you being more frequently present with your videos. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But that said, I understand that being like the most difficult thing. Certainly it's tough. It's tough. Do you have any particular thoughts on how to be more consistent?
I have a schedule. If I stick with the schedule, because the schedule factors in my spawn and school and their sports, and then me learning the family business as well. So, and then other things, life things. So if I actually stick with that schedule that I created until, their sports schedule changes, then I think I'd be okay. But it's actually like starting stream, I say I start like 9:30 ish.
Yeah.
I can never start on time, because I feel like something always happens right before stream, like no
Yeah.
matter how much time I give myself.
Yeah.
And then I'm part of the Slow Builders Club, and I talk a lot. I don't follow directions, so it tends to be longer streams.
Hmm.
But I need to be okay with like stopping at like 1 p.m. or something instead of
Right.
like continuing for
Right.
like 3 more hours.
Mm,
And I'd have to be okay with having a build that's not completely done,
yeah.
but knowing that I'll go back next stream and finish it. Just be okay with that.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight and giving me your perspective and your story. It's awesome to have another AFOL in the fold here on Twitch. So I've been able to lurk in some of your streams. Definitely, keep doing what you're doing. I think it's great. I appreciate your love for the brick, for dreams. It's a wonderful theme. Where can people find you on the internet, Donna? Where can we find your content?
I'm everywhere. So on Twitch, it's charming_jellyfish. On the YouTube, it will be charming jellyfish, all one word. And Instagram, I think it's the same. I'm not sure. I think I gave you like the link tree thingy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually went through and individually added them to my bot, but what I can do is pull it up and link it. But absolutely, yeah, charming jellyfish, pretty much everywhere, depending on the platform. It might be slightly different, which I'm in the same boat. I'll be honest. Sometimes I have to throw an underscore in there for my stuff. There we go. So the link tree's there.
Perfect.
Awesome. It's been so fun getting to know you. Absolutely, you all should check out. I'll do the shout out, of course. Making sure I got. There we go. Yeah, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. One thing we'd like to do when we close out the show is give you the closing moments. It can be advice. It could be a plug for something. It could be whatever you want it to be. So in these last moments, charming jellyfish, the floor is yours. Any parting thoughts?
The biggest thing that comes to mind is that I'm actually going to be taking part of a charity raid fundraiser thing. So I kind of want to plug that. That is going to be November 11th. It's called the No Friend Left Behind. And it is a fundraiser for the Wounded Warrior Project. So Wounded Warrior Project, they help veterans get any type of help that they need in a timely manner. And for me, because of the fact that I do have quite a few veterans and active duty members in my family, I am very excited to take part of this. It'll be my first one ever, and it'll be November 11th, and I do believe that is actually Veterans Day. So I'm not sure of the time yet, but follow me and I'll keep you up to date.